when we had those moments when we were getting tired, we're getting weary, we're getting thirsty, and someone shouted out from their window, chanting with us, that gave us a little more courage, right? So this is what we have to do for David Wright. The judge may not want people in the courtroom. None of them want us in the courtroom. But we will be outside of the courtroom. And we will let them know that we are watching. And we are paying attention. And we are examining the truth. All right? So I can't say enough. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
Can Mike set up?
Here in Boston, it's not okay for someone to call a Muslim man a terrorist and that's the end of the story. That is not the end of the story.
No peace. No racists. No peace. No justice. No peace. No racists. No peace. So please, just briefly, my name is Breonna Taylor. I'm an organizer with the PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Give it up for yourselves for turning out, right? You could have been anywhere else tonight, but you chose to be with those who stand on the right side of history. Because what's happening in this country is a dangerous precedent for all of us. 4 members of the Party for Socialism and Liberation were arrested on September 16th, and they were charged with kidnapping the police in their own building, right? In reality, what happened was that a Blue Lives Matter protest was being held in front of the police department. We organized a protest to counter it of hundreds of people and surrounded the police precinct or office, whatever they call it, right? And we shut that protest down, right? We also have organized 4 to 5 protests calling for justice for Elijah McClain. Raise your hand if you know who Elijah McClain is. That's right. So Elijah McClain was killed last year in August. The video of his strangling did not come out until November, right? And the district attorney, Andrew Young, remember that name, Andrew Young. He's a Democrat. He did nothing. December, January, February, March, he did nothing. April, nothing. May, nothing. And then when George Floyd was murdered and this nation was woken out of its sleep, right? All of a sudden, right, we hear about Elijah McClain. That's a good thing, right? And what's even better is that we organized against it. Right. And what did the police do? The same police who killed him, what did they do? Nothing. Right? They repressed our protests. They arrested our comrades, right? There was a man who drove his car into our comrades on a highway, and when the police finally got him, they let him go home free of charge, right? So our comrades are facing decades in prison. Raise your hand if you know who William Barr is. Yeah. In June, William Barr and Donald Trump said they're going to give 10 years automatic to so-called anarchists, Marxists, people who pulled down Christopher Columbus' statue. About 30 statues have gone down. That's a lot of people. That's 300 years, right? 300 years for decolonization, right? So we in the Party for Socialism and Liberation, we're putting a call out because our comrades are facing decades in prison for kidnapping the police in their own building. That's bullshit, right? The only reason that the police are attacking us is because we've been organizing and calling for justice for Elijah McClain, right? No other reason than that. So I want you to go to pslweb.org/donate for Denver, right? Because if they, like they said, first they came for the communists, and I said nothing because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I said nothing because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I said nothing because I'm not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jewish people, and then there was nobody left to come for them, to protect them, right? So we have to apply that to America, right? For the Muslim people, for black people, for revolutionary people, for anarchists, Marxists, right? Because if they come for me in the night, they're gonna come for you in the morning, right? So this is a fight for our civil liberties, our freedom of speech, our right to assemble like we're doing right now, right? Because if we don't have that right, then we're gonna have outright fascism. So we're out here also to talk about Breonna Taylor. I want to bring up my comrade Gabby B to talk about Breonna Taylor. And I don't know if anybody else from Mass Action, if I have any of the speakers to come on up, but I want to bring up Gabby B. So give it up for Gabby B.
We're fired up, can't take it no more. Fired up, can't take it no more. Fired up, can't take it no more. We're fired up, can't take it no more. Peace. My name is Gabby. How many of y'all were out here or out last night marching? A few people. Oh, good number, good number. All right. Well, I know that many of y'all are struggling to get connected, get involved, and organized, and it's great to see so many new faces out here today. And we're excited to continue to build and continue to organize in the coming struggle ahead. So to reiterate some ideas that have been presented throughout today and last night and time again, if you don't know, exactly 65 years after Emmett Till's murderers were acquitted of torturing, torturing, mutilating, brutalizing a child and leaving him for dead, dropping his body in a river. These men were acquitted, not guilty. 65 years to the day, Breonna Taylor's murderers were acquitted. Shame. An essential worker, asleep in her bed, snatched from this earth, and her murderers are walking free. Free to continue to terrorize our communities. And we know that this isn't just the beginning. This isn't, this terror won't stop. Because after the pigs killed her, they tried to cover it up. They left the incident report almost entirely blank. And when that didn't work, they tried to character assassinate Breonna, dragging her name through the mud. They tried to get her boyfriend to lie on her. They tried to use the media to demonize her. And then when that didn't work, the state and its secret grand jury tried to, assuage us, calm us all down by bringing some soft-ass charges on only one of the officers who murdered Breonna Taylor. One person was charged for bullets that missed. How was someone shot 8 times and there was no injuries on the injury report? How did you not force your way into an apartment, but there was a battering ram? Neighbors saw you use a battering ram to break into an apartment. And that didn't just happen. This isn't just, a one-off thing. In reality, these charges show just how deep the hatred for Black women, against Breonna's family, against everyone who has been marching, who has been demanding justice, how ingrained in the fabric of this country, in the way that this entire country was built. Because Hankinson wasn't charged with first, second, or third degree murder. 8 bullets. He was charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment. What the fuck is that? To be clear, these police, these U.S. prisons and courts know exactly that they're hurting, working, and oppressed people. This is not an accident. These aren't random occurrences. That's why in the days before the announcement of the grand jury, they started preparing. They started barricading downtown areas. They had the mayor of Louisville, who's a Democrat, by the way, and we have a lot to say about the Democrats who haven't done shit for us, declared a state of emergency and a curfew in the city the day before the grand jury announcement was made. Why would you do that if you know that everything was copacetic and that there was justice served? Because you know that there was no justice served.
That's right.
We see that the police, the prisons, the courts, they're organized. They're collaborating. All right? The courts knew what the grand jury announcement was going to be, so the police got ready. They're prepared to organize and mobilize to squash our resistance. So this, again, isn't just something that's happening in Kentucky or in Colorado. We see Charlie Baker doing the same thing here in Massachusetts. Why was the National Guard called? For protests against police terror. You're not that quick to pour money into community resources, social services in the middle of a global pandemic, but you're quick to fund riot gear, quick to fund tear gas, rubber covered metal bullets, whatever the fuck there's. It's ridiculous. So you find the funds for the police. You're quick to fund the police, but not to fund the schools. Quick to, pay for this riot gear, these batons, and protect these officers, but you're not that quick to arrest them when they murder innocent people on camera, and entire thousands of people around the world are demanding justice. Why? Why would that be? Why? In the face of all of that, how could this be? Well, it's because the top priority of this capitalist government and its politicians is to protect profits. They protect the status quo. They protect racism. They protect patriarchy. They protect sexism. They protect anti-LGBTQ behaviors, systems. They protect the right of the rich and the powerful to exploit working and oppressed people. So across the entire country, killer cops walk free, while anti-racist protesters are brutalized and arrested. As Nino just mentioned, a prime example, in Colorado, PSL members have been some of the leading organizers in the campaigns for justice for Elijah McClain and Elijah's family. So in response to demonstrations like we're having now, to speaking out, speaking truth to power, what did the pigs do? They flexed their power by bringing in a fucking tank, bringing in battering rams, squads of cop cars, SWAT teams to arrest 5 people? Just like Breonna, like so many others, Elijah McClain's murder was merciless, and then they tried to cover it up. They mocked him, and then they tried to cover it up. And even after the protest release, again, a Democrat, Andrew Young, refuses to charge the police, continue to collaborate with the police to try to criminalize protesters, criminalize PS organizers, PSL members, Lillian House, Russell Rutch, Eliza Lucero, and Joel Northam. So if the police will terrorize Joel, Lillian, Russell, Eliza, they will do it to you, and they'll do it to me. If they will murder Breonna Taylor in cold blood, Elijah McClain, and then laugh about it, George Floyd in cold blood, they will do it to you. They've done it, and if they keep doing it, they will keep doing it. They keep lying and protecting each other and lying and covering it up. So we know what they're going to do. We know. We've seen it time and time again. The question is, what are we going to do? Do y'all want to protect black women? Yeah. Do y'all want to fight police terror? Yeah. Oh, do y'all want to win? Yeah. Okay, so we want to win. Yeah. Well, being angry and just coming to the demonstration isn't enough, right? We're here and it's great. Love to see you. But that's not enough to win power for all of us. That's not enough to demand justice. Justice for the families, justice for the victims. We're going up against a disciplined, well-organized state machine. Our enemies, again, have coordinated the militias, the police, the military, the judges, the politicians. They're all on the same payroll. Paying. They're paying. They're being paid to control us, surveil us.
abuse us, and ultimately murder us. If we want to win, we need our own organization. We need our own strategy. The spontaneous energy of the movement might ebb and flow, but the process of building an organization every day, like the PSL does every single day, that's constant. And we don't need just one or two leaders. We don't need just one Malcolm X or one Dr. King or one person to be put on a pedestal. We don't need martyrs. We need everybody.
That's right.
We need to build an international movement for workers and oppressed people. And like former Black Panther Safiya Bukhari told us, it's not possible to talk about a movement for liberation if you fail to liberate people who are incarcerated as a result of that liberation struggle. We cannot forget our political prisoners. We must center them. To have any shot at winning justice for Breonna Taylor or any of the victims of police terror, we have to defend our leaders in the movement, and PSL members are facing decades in prison. Decades in prison for demanding justice, for protesting like we're doing here, for what I'm doing right now. Decades in prison. We have to take up their revolutionary leadership and continue to fight and continue to struggle for liberation. So we need to demand that the charges on PSL comrades be dropped. Say, drop the charges, CEO. Drop the charges.
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 And we need to continue to connect, to collaborate, to build our power. So next week, the PSL is calling for a public organizing meeting. It's time to step it up, Boston. A lot of folks are like, Boston is a little quiet, so we need y'all out here consistently. From 12 to 2 p.m. at Jeep Jones Park. From 12 to 2 p.m. at Jeep Jones Park, which is about 2 blocks away from Roxbury T Station, Roxbury Crossing. We'll discuss next steps for our campaign to drop all charges on anti-racist organizers and to learn more about the struggle to free all political prisoners. So let's leave it off with one more chant. The people united will never be defeated. 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 Thank you.
Yeah, give it up for Getty one more time. Who got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
People power.
Who got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
People power.
That's right. The power that we have is the person next to you. The power that we have is your coworker, right? Your neighbor, your family. We gotta touch one. We gotta touch every single person, right? Because we're not outnumbered. We're just organized, right? So come November, come past that, white supremacy is still gonna be alive.
It sure is.
Right? So, just to big that up, we got to keep organizing. So, Brock, I don't know if you're ready, but I wanted to bring up Brock. He's the leader of mass action against police brutality. There are cases here like homecoming and Michigan reopen. So give it up for Brock.
Thank you, y'all. And I just want to thank PSL for helping us out with the sound. We had a little sound problems, but I believe we got our point across. So what do you think? We just gonna keep coming out here. It's crazy. Sometimes you can put in a Herculean effort and just get a handful of people come out. Sometimes barely do anything. Thousands come out. Just depends on the time. So we'll see. The main thing is we gotta be resolute in what we stand for, and consistent. And over time, even if people aren't coming to the demonstration, some people just, they're not really interested in the demonstration. They're ready for something even more confrontational. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, they're saying I have to speak up. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, y'all. Damn. not my day. I just wanted to, I was hoping to bring up Hope Coleman, but I don't know. Hope, are you here? I thought she was here because she actually marched the whole way. I'm extremely impressed with that woman. You want to talk about somebody who's committed, you know, unfortunately for, you know, these families, they have to live this, so they can't ever escape it. And that's part of the horror of what happens, you know, how it just tears apart families. What we don't see is the aftermath of how this just tears people down. It tears people down, losing their loved ones to the police, and then the insult to injury, the government, you know. Oh, there we go. There you are. I'm sitting here. I want to still talk about Hope since she's right in front of me. Don't think, you know. You guess with Hope, and it ain't no joke. But yeah, I mean, I think Hope is definitely a real leader in this fight, and she's come so far from just the initial days of this whole thing, and being able to speak and advocate not only for her, but for all these families across the country. And she's known by other families, all, you know, many of the ones you heard of in the news. We've just been out here, not just in Boston, but across the country. So I just wanted to, I guess, make that point, which is, you know what? November's coming up, and a lot of people are getting maybe the anxiety of what's happening, where's this country headed. But I believe that this movement is the most powerful force in the country. It is the one thing that can bring together all walks of life in a way that nothing else can, because it appeals to our humanity and the best in all of us. And it's through that, you know, we have any hope of a future, really. I think it's that serious. That's why we know we have to vote with our feet. That's the most important vote that you're going to make in 2020. And what that means is you're going to be committed to being out in these streets regardless of who wins. I don't care how you feel, what you're going to vote, if you're going to vote. It doesn't really matter. Because who gets elected, who doesn't get elected, none of them are trying to solve this problem. They're all part of the problem. So, you know, I mean, even now they're trying to push these progressive bills, so quote unquote, but, you know, none of these police reform bills deal with one of the central issues that all the families are raising. They're demanding justice. They want the police prosecuted, and they want these cases reopened. You won't find that in any of these bills. Not the Breathe Act, not the George Floyd Act, or anything else they're trying to peddle to get your vote. They want to get your vote, they don't want to deliver justice, ultimately. So we are going to be resolved to be in the streets, and it's going to be a long fight. But I think since we've been in it, you know, as mass action, going back 6 years now from the Mike Brown uprising, we've seen ebbs and flows of the fight. But this George Floyd era is on a higher level than the Mike Brown era in terms of people that have been coming out. I don't believe we've even begun to march. I think we're going to see, probably in all of our lifetimes, tens of millions of people on the streets in the United States of America. People would never believe that would be possible. And that's going to make civil rights movement small. Well, you know, there's more people in the country too than there was back then. So we were in DC on the 28th, and that was probably maybe more people. I don't know. It was similar in terms of numbers of turnout, but it wasn't the same thing because they were just pushing. They were pushing all these reformist bills at the expense of the families that they brought in. some families, weren't feeling it at all. Anything that you heard on stage. Because basically they had a 6-hour program. They barely let any family speak. But that was the reason why they organized. So we and a bunch of other families, we marched to the DOJ to demand that all cases be reopened. So anyways, it was real powerful. We were able to get thousands of people to march to the DOJ, led by Hope Coleman and other families from across the country. And we know we had an impact because I've heard Ayanna Pressley's name mentioned today. She was actually in DC at the March on Washington. She spoke on Sharpton's program. And they were supposed to go with Sharpton to march to the MLK statue, but we organized the march that went to the DOJ. Don't you know Ayanna Pressley was stalking Hope Coleman, trying to get a selfie? She didn't go to the march that she was supposed to go. She wanted to get close to Hope Coleman. But all this time that she's been in office, she hasn't been talking about Hope Coleman. But I know she's been knowing about Hope Coleman, though.
That's right.
Because the day that we were out at the vigil, a few days after Terrence was killed, one of Ayanna Pressley's assistants came to me with their card. Anything you can help us do. That's the cowardly thing that politicians do. What we need you to do is to publicly take a stand. Not work behind the scenes. Publicly take a stand. And you can't say that you're going to help Hope Coleman unless you demand what? To reopen that case. So anyways, I'm going to just give it to Hope Coleman. And before I do, I just want to say Mass Action is in full support of the campaign to drop all these charges against the PSL members in Aurora, Colorado. That's some real bullshit. It's a threat to all of us. And, it just shows you that this movement in itself is, what they fear the greatest. More than, Russia, more than China. They fear you and me. They fear you and me waking up and stopping the bullshit. As Shahida Muhammad said, that's David Wright's mother. So I want to see as many of you as possible out on Monday demanding that David Wright be freed. If you don't know enough about the case, go on Mass Action website, Facebook page, actually on our website, MAAPB.org. We have a podcast that goes into it in some depth. But this is a major case. This is how they're, in the same way that they gave David decades, 28 years. So he's been in jail for coming up on 5 years. The first 2 years in solitary confinement. But in any case, the truth must be told. These FBI and the BPD have to be exposed, and even, the District Attorney Dan Connolly and all their roles and all this stuff. The truth has to come out. It's not going to come out without us demanding it. All right, so I just want to hand it to Hope Coleman, and thank you all for coming out. We just got to keep the pressure on, y'all. How long? How long? How long?
Till we win.
That's right, y'all. Till we win.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for coming this way. We all got to stick together. I'd like to say one thing. Nobody knows about reopening the cases. All these, like Baker, he didn't know nothing. Give me your job. You're supposed to know everything before you take the chair. But anyhow, reopen the damn cases. And stop covering up. It's time to freaking open up every damn thing. Either way, you're gonna get busted. We got cameras and stuff, My son really appreciate everyone sticking together and coming out. I wish I never called 911 because he'll be here. And the cops, they had a nerve to promote one of the officers that killed my son. And you got the damn Evans making statements. The mother wasn't there at all. Well, where the hell was I at? There's a lot of things that's going on. Reopen the damn cases now. It's time for a change. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. Let their asses out. Time for a damn change. If you don't know what the hell to do, get out the damn seat, put somebody else in your damn chair. Thank you. Thank you. We believe in hope. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the damn police. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna wrap up now. Y'all got marching orders, right? We gotta free David, right? We gotta drop the charges. We gotta reopen the cases. We gotta jail the cops. We gotta build an organization. We gotta educate ourselves, right? And the year's only halfway through, so we got a lot of work to do. I know there's an unemployment crisis, but we got a lot of work to do. So I just want to say thank you to Mass Action, thank you to Hope Coleman, thank you to every single person that turned out tonight, right? Because we're not gonna win without each other. So hopefully get home safe, travel together, do your homework, follow up, stay tuned, right? Stay educated, agitated, and stay organized. Peace, all power to the people. Thank you.
And one more thing. A lot of kids see what's going on. It's a damn shame. They can't even go outside and play. But this is history. They know this is history out here. Because the family should tell them and bring them out also. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Peace. Catch y'all later.
I'm Rachel. And Dita, everyone always mixes us up. I know. It's because the light skin with curly hair. That's not true. We don't look alike. Somebody else.